place is something else. Let's go!
Hello everyone and welcome to the Daily Esports Guide on Lifeline, Combat Medic. My name is Trooper and today we will be breaking down all of the abilities Lifeline has to offer so that you can heal and support your teammates and make your squad champions. We're going to cover effectively using her abilities, optimal playstyle and weapon choices, synergistic legend combinations, and some high-level tactics you can use to be the best support player in your server. Let's start with her abilities. Lifeline's passive is called Combat Medic and gives her two unique capabilities. The first is that it reduces the amount of time required to use healing items by 25%. This is an incredibly strong passive as it allows you to use items in the middle of fights more effectively than any other legend. This can give you additional sustain and help keep you alive in those tough fights and situations. This component of her passive also stacks with the legendary backpack that provides an additional 50% reduction to healing time. Combining these means healing items will only take 37.5% of the time they normally would to use, giving you a tremendous edge in prolonged skirmishes and long-range engagements. The second component to her passive allows you to revive downed teammates 25% faster than any other legend, and also puts up a 180-degree shield in the direction you are currently facing when you do. This is very critical. You have to be facing the direction that you want the shield to pop up. But this lets her revive teammates in the middle of combat more effectively than any other legend. But because the shield only covers 180 degrees in front of you, you have to make sure to face towards where the enemies you were fighting are, so that it can actually protect you. If your teammate can get to a corner or near some terrain, this becomes even stronger, as the terrain will protect your back while the shield covers the front. Her passive is strong, but her tactical and ultimate abilities are just as good, if not better. This makes her a prime candidate for the legendary helmet, which reduces the amount of time it takes for her abilities to come off cooldown. I haven't actually been able to find a gold helmet myself while playing Lifeline, so I haven't got to test exactly how much faster your abilities will come up. If you do know the answer to this, please leave a comment down below, as I'm sure everyone would greatly appreciate it. I haven't been able to find the answer online anywhere either. Her tactical ability is the DOC Heal Drone. The DOC stands for Drone of Compassion, but I prefer to call it Doc. It provides healing to any character within 2 meters, so it's a very short range. But this also includes enemies, so be careful. You don't want to be healing the enemies. You will be able to see a blue stream going from the drone to a player being healed, so you'll know for sure if the drone is actually healing somebody, and if it's you or your ally the drone is healing, you'll see it in the bottom left on the health bars as well. This drone lasts for 20 seconds once deployed, and is on a 59-second cooldown. The most optimal use of this tactical ability is right after your team wins a fight. While everyone is looting, drop the heal drone so that you can get some of their health back while they stock up on supplies. This way you can loot and get your health back at the same time, allowing you to be ready for the next incoming assault if some people are trying to third-party you, or quickly move on to another area. It is crucial to deploy this after every fight so your allies can save their syringes and medkits, which they might need if you are taken out or if a fight gets too chaotic for you to use the drone efficiently. The drone can also be used in the middle of a fight to provide additional sustain to you and your teammates, but only in very specific situations. It's most effective when there is some space between you and your enemies, and you have some cover to hide behind. The advantage to this is it allows you to have some sustain while being able to shoot the whole time. You don't have to stop shooting in order to pop shield or health, you can just use the drone. But it isn't powerful enough to allow you to take on a full frontal assault without worry, so make sure you aren't just standing there taking damage because you have the drone deployed. It's not going to work. Now for the ultimate ability, a care package. This is so strong, especially in the early game, that it has quickly become the meta to feed all ultimate accelerants to the Lifeline player on your team. Hopefully, that means you. The standard cooldown for the care package is 5 minutes and 56 seconds. But if you manage to get your hands on 5 ultimate accelerants and use them all at once, this can be reduced down to just 35 seconds. Yes, that's right, 35 seconds. Each accelerant reduces the cooldown by 20% and takes only 7 seconds to use. So 5 times 7, 35. Each care package has 3 slots, each containing a distinct item. The first slot has armor, level 2 or 3 body shields, helmets, or knockdown shields. The second slot contains healing, med kits, phoenix kits, shield batteries, shield cells, syringes, all of that good stuff to help keep your shields and your health topped off when you can't use the drone. Finally, the third slot contains weapon attachments. This could be sights, stabilizers, larger magazines, and hop-ups. These can even be legendary, although it is quite rare to get your hands on one of those. Make sure to use every accelerant you can get your hands on to call in as many of these in a game as you can. If you have a Lifeline on your team, give these to them. The ultimate accelerants are the key to victory. Loot is the most important thing in any battle royale game type, and the defensive items in Apex hold true to that. Being able to absorb so much extra damage as a team synergizes perfectly with Lifeline's ability to heal and revive teammates. Alright, now that we know what Lifeline can do, it's time to learn how to do it well. As the only healer in the game, your job is always to revive down teammates, especially in the middle of combat, and provide healing and sustain to the other players on your team as well as to yourself. This means that you should not, under any circumstances, be charging into the fight first, but instead, you should be sitting back and providing support and cover fire for the more aggressive teammates. You want to make sure you can always have the enemies in front of you, as if they can get your flank, it becomes significantly more difficult to use your shield while reviving efficiently, and can cost you your life and your team the game. Close quarter, all-in style combat also completely removes your ability to sustain throughout the fight, which takes away one of your major strengths. With so many other legends also having strong offensive abilities, those all-in engagements are just asking for trouble, as you don't have the same tools to come out ahead in those. As a result, you should avoid these types of fights at all costs. If you do get caught in one of these scenarios, however, make sure to jump, crouch, and strafe to make yourself as hard as possible to hit. At the time of this recording, Lifeline has the second smallest hitbox in the game, only behind Wraith, so use that to your advantage and make your opponents miss their shots. This also benefits you at a distance, as you're a smaller target from far away. With all this in mind, let's talk about what weapons you should be keeping an eye out for when playing Lifeline to facilitate this supportive style of play. A quick note before we do though, this is an FPS game after all, so ultimately you need to use whatever weapons you feel most comfortable with. That being said, there are certainly weapons that are better than others for playing this way, and those are what we will be discussing here. Since we advocate long-range supportive play, it should come as no surprise that sniper rifles and TMRs are on the top of the list. Particularly the triple take and longbow can be particularly devastating if you consider yourself a marksman, and of course the legendary Kraber 50 cal, I don't know how to pronounce that, is absolutely worth picking up though if you can manage to find one in your match. That thing is devastating. The Devotion and Spitfire LMGs also make excellent choices, as their large magazine sizes and high damage output allow you to be extremely effective at medium range. If you aren't particularly fond of any of these choices, the new Hemlock Burst Assault Rifle and the Flatline Assault Rifle can also be extremely effective at that medium range. Lastly, you could also elect to run a Wingman pistol because, well, it's just ridiculously strong, especially if you find that skull-piercing hop-up. Alright, now that we know what weapons to use, it's time to talk about the final component, Synergies. As a true support character, we already mentioned that you shouldn't be the main aggressor of your team, so you need some legends that can successfully fill that role. The first that comes to mind is Bangalore, as successful use of her smoke grenade allows for an even easier time healing a downed ally mid-fight. It can also provide just enough cover to allow you to quickly get off some health items before the enemies are able to find you through the smoke. If that wasn't good enough for you, her ultimate, Rolling Thunder, calls in an airstrike on an enemy position, making those wide open spaces even more appealing for Lifeline to fight in with a Bangalore by her side. The other offensive legends, Wraith and Mirage, like to get up and close and personal as well, but neither of them is quite as well suited to be the first legend in like Bangalore is. Regardless of that fact, Mirage can use his decoy to lure opponents out of hiding and allow you to do damage from far away, while Wraith can be frustratingly difficult for an opponent to kill, again freeing you up to lay down significant damage and clean up enemies from afar. Bloodhound is also a great option, as his tracker can make sure you don't get flanked and are aware of nearby enemies, while his ultimate encourages him to jump straight into the fray and can inform you of any enemies trying to flank you. Defensive characters inherently don't synergize as well, as they typically want the fight to come to them, which, as we discussed earlier, is not ideal for a character like Lifeline, who wants to be further away from the action. Gibraltar does have a really cool interaction with Lifeline though, where he can drop his Dome of Protection, his tactical ability, on top of Lifeline's heal drone, allowing you to move it around by walking into the drone repeatedly. This isn't incredibly useful, but it's pretty cool to advance under a moving shield nonetheless. Alright guys, well that pretty much does it for this guide on Lifeline. We hope you learned something and feel ready to heal many a legend on your way to becoming the champion. We'd love to hear your favorite strategies, synergies, and weapon choices on Lifeline in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to stay up to date on the latest Apex content and get more guides like this one.